backwards yet. Here they come.
So hello and welcome to the Cinebums with John and Luke. We are back for another one. Today we have on my good friend Ian Geatz. Am I saying it right? I've never even said it like before.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, first
Ian
goes a home run. So
Ian gets buckets. Yeah,
yeah, Ian gets buckets, bro.
and
Gets-
we're
gets
talking
ahead.
about Family Guy Star Wars today.
Mhm.
And if you happen to follow Ian on any social media, you know he's very passionate about Family Guy.
It's about it. It's
Right. Yeah.
As someone who doesn't follow Ian on social media, I gotta know what is your, I guess, relationship with Family Guy?
Toxic for sure. It is not healthy. I would say like it is an Achilles heel that has only
it definitely holds you back in life, huh?
well, I've started seeing this girl recently, and I had to introduce. Like I had my first. It was going really well for a while, and then I had my first like, oh, this reminds me of that Family Guy clip, and it kind of becomes like a possession where I'll immediately pull up the Family Guy clip and show it to the person I'm talking to at hand, and you always reach milestones in a relationship, and boundaries and where you set limitations.
Maybe
and
for the first 2 weeks you didn't mention the Family Guy bid you like so much.
It's
and
been
then
about
one day...
about 2 months now, and I just did it. And the look of horror is still always the same on any person when you're like, oh, this reminds me of this Peter Griffin moment. Like, so it's always really cool. Like, it's always met with dead silence.
Girls, for the most part, don't find Family Guy funny.
I will have to disagree with you on that. Most people who I've talked about it with growing up were girls or my mom. So I'm
okay.
The coolest group I could have talked to about it growing up, and like the second coolest group is girls and your mom. The coolest thing in high school.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if John, you remember in high school, like how big Family Guy was.
Oh, of course.
In like the culture of our high school.
Yeah.
We had a kid in our class. Like if you remember him, like I'll be able to tell, but if you don't, I'll say his name. He pretty much based his whole personality around Family Guy. And he would pretty much just he'd pretty much just be walking around all the time going like, oh no.
Hell yeah.
Like,
I don't know who you're talking about right now.
You don't?
No.
Do you remember Adam Turner?
Oh yes.
You remember?
Yeah.
I mean, and he kind of like he hung around guys who kind of did this, but I remember like this guy, like I don't know how he what he would be like if Family Guy wasn't a thing, because all he pretty much did was go around quoting Family Guy and just walk into a room and be like, oh no. And like,
he's a phony, a big fat phony.
Right. But everyone loved it, everyone loved it. Everyone kind of like thought he was funny just because he was, like knew the Family Guy jokes pretty much.
Yeah, I know. I remember I liked Adam a lot because he was always really funny, but it was probably because he was always quoting Family Guy, which was the biggest
show. How can you not like a
show.
guy who's just quoting like kids all day, and that's like his personality pretty much.
Yeah. I don't mean like to take it to this limit, but like, Family Guy is always like the thing I go to when I meet somebody who's autistic. It's always a good go-to conversation piece. neurodivergent people, like
It's
myself
just like
included in that window.
accessible humor that you can just pop on and they'll be like, ha ha, like immediately.
I just remember like I knew a couple kids in high school too, and like I went to a very huge high school that had a lot of different learning programs, and I was in like the theater club, and like there was like one kid who I'll say I became like friends with in some way of high school where you talk to him, but like he was on the spectrum, but like the coolest thing ever was just like you're like, hey, we can both quote Family Guy and do the peanut butter jelly time dance, so you learn a little bit about everything. I've also like lost my virginity to Family Guy, so it's pretty.
Wow,
it's pretty much the best. It's the best thing in my life. It is
a major part of your life.
Yeah, it was the road to North Pole. That was it.
Wow, this is so revealing. I'm so happy we scheduled this interview.
Yeah, I feel like we're like Howard Stern now, but just for Family Guy. Yeah.
Yeah, I can tell you a lot. It was always the show I snuck out to watch too. Like it was just like the earliest like cartoon.
Were you not allowed to watch it at home?
No, which is probably where the obsession came from. Like I remember.
Yeah, I wasn't allowed to watch this type of stuff either. Like I'm like the oldest kid, so I remember just with comedy in general, like I was really fascinated by comedy, but I didn't get a lot of adult humor. So I remember hanging out with friends and them laughing at the jokes and me kind of just like watching them laugh and like being like, I don't get this, but like I admire it for making my friends laugh. Like there's jokes I could pick out from the like Blue Harvest and whatnot that are in that category that I didn't understand like freshman year of high school, but took till now to understand it.
Oh my gosh. Like I mean I was watching it back in like fourth, like fifth grade, like real.
I
just real like Adult Swim, which is weird because they've taken it off now. I think like TBS and Adult Swim, like it's no longer Disney's like pulled
that's
the plug
where it
on.
used to live too.
Yeah, dude, that's like what brought it back, which was really weird for me to like because I just have memories of going down sneaking and watching it, and like I tried to tell my parents, like I go like, man, like Family Guy got off TBS, and my dad's like, why do I fucking care? Like,
you're like, no reason, it's just my life.
Guy. My dad hates Family Guy. Like, he hates it more that I watch it literally all the time when I'm home. Like,
you have nothing better to do.
I don't know. Do you guys have a show like that though that you watch like on like in the background though? Like sometimes
like all the time.
Like I know some people have like friends or like I also have like podcasts I listen to too. But like there's like TV shows I'm like, oh, I'll just put this on while I walk around my house aimlessly or like do dishes or something.
Yeah, I have a lot of background shows. They're usually like The Simpsons was on a lot the past month because mostly because my internet wasn't working that well, and so I was using the DVDs I have, and I ended up forgetting that it was because my internet was not working. Like, so I just thought I'd watch The Simpsons because I wanted to, but then one day I tried to watch a streaming service again, and I was like, oh, that's why I've been watching The Simpsons.
Yeah, and then you just go back to watching The Simpsons, and it's 2 months of that.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's just like comforting to have bids that you've memorized going or and stuff like that. Yeah, because when you live alone and you've got the chores to do all day, day after day, shows like throwing like Family Guy or The Simpsons or something like that on is definitely will make you feel less alone for sure.
John, what about you, dude?
Yeah, I mean, I'm the same. The Simpsons and The Office are usually like my background shows, but podcasts are a big one too. So yeah, that's I definitely see how Family Guy is one of those. That's one that I don't know if you've ever been like on a road trip where you stop part way at a hotel.
Yes, dude. That's hotel. It's like we're going put on TBS. Like
exactly, and that's where we would watch. Like I remember like driving back and forth between like Illinois and Colorado or California. We would stop in a hotel, be late at night, and I just turn on Family Guy and TBS. And it was just like the perfect thing to end the night on. You just been in the car all day,
That's
just
why
want to
I'm
watch.
so bummed, dude. Because like I went to a hotel recently. I was like, let's put on TBS. And it's like Big Bang Theory. I'm like, I'm not.
Yeah, and they like have the new Daniel Radcliffe Buscemi show or whatever
Yeah,
on,
dude.
Oh yeah, yeah.
something like that.
Or like, yeah. Now I gotta watch Shark Tank. Like when I go to hotels, like I
Oh
gotta
yeah.
listen.
Shark Tank is another hotel show. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Me and Jake used to watch the TBS like Family Guy outputs like during the summers when I was in high school, and it was like Tuesday, and you'd get to watch like 8 straight
Oh,
episodes
so
of Family
good.
Guy, and there'd be the excessive amount of commercials that TBS puts out. So between like the Family Guy jokes and the commercials, you just get in, that stupid brain numbing mood that you're looking for on a summer night.
Oh my god. Like I don't mean to keep bringing it back to Family Guy, but I honestly am.
Well, that's what you're here for.
Like there's so much connective tissue just being stored in my brain that now like after this I'm gonna be like I think like I'll never watch it again, which is not true, but like I just thought of my room growing up and like in fourth grade I got like a Family Guy poster. So it was just a like and I'm remembering the other posters were a Green Day poster, a Spider-Man 3 poster, and
Hell yeah.
and a Family Guy poster all on a line.
Yeah, that's
With
very much what I was into in middle school, like Spider-Man 3, Family Guy, and Green Day.
like this is me now. This is what I
This is
do.
who I am. This is who I am. I was a blank slate.
I got like I would go to like Hot Topic a lot as a kid, and I would just buy all the Family Guy stuff.
So like the tamest, like preppiest stuff probably in the Hot Topic.
Just like the little like big-headed Stewie that like says quotes. I get like patches of brine and sew them on my jeans. And like it's like I'm now just like, man, this was your thing and you're still with it.
So yeah,
Right.
when I first saw Family Guy Blue Harvest, like the cover of it, I knew it was like something I had to see. Like it just felt like I put it on a pedestal, I remember, and then I think when I finally saw it, it met all my expectations and then some. And it ended up being like Ian, you saw, I own all 3 DVDs of this. This is
Right
how,
there. They're on a pedestal still.
yeah, this is how this episode came to be.
You're like, yeah, this is what we'll talk about. Well, like my thing is like I talked to you guys before, um like this is the first trilogy you've done ever.
Right,
On
we're
an
not even doing like Star Wars the trilogy. We're doing the
no.
Family Guy Star Wars trilogy.
So I'm your trilogy guy now. That's like what I'm dubbing myself. I'm not the Family Guy
Right.
guy. It's like we're gonna do this, then we're gonna do RoboCop, and then like from there it's just the open water.
Yeah. But then so when I had people, it ended up being, and I'm pretty sure John, you were one of those people. Whenever I would have someone over, this is something I would have to watch with them, would be one of the Family Guy Star Wars movies. And
Is this
I would always
true?
like, yeah, it's 100% true.
We definitely watched
And
these, at least one of these in your basement.
we
in high
had
school.
to
I
have,
remember that. Yeah.
everyone I had over, we watched it, and I would always like, I knew what bids were coming up always, and I would like always, like, when you kind of very actively watch something you've seen with someone, and you kind of like, you look at them a little too hard when like a joke's coming up, or like
Yes.
when there's a joke you like and you want them to like it as much as you kind of look at them and go like, ha ha, like a little bit too much. I was doing that with these
Oh
for
my
sure.
And Luke, that's what I'm talking about. Like Family Guy is always that way. Like when you have like a specific bit, is like you can pull it up on your phone, show somebody, and it's always just that intensity behind it. But like I feel like the replay value on Blue Harvest is still pretty up there. Just watching, I watched it again like 2 nights ago. Like
Right. I actually
it's
put it on right before this again too. So right there
it's
with you.
it's pretty like peak TV like comedy writing. Like it's all bits, but like
Yeah.
Pretty.
Well, and that's the thing to like forget about. Like I forget because I own the DVDs, is I forget that these are like episodes of television. These aren't movies like that were released. They were released like you can't look these up on IMDb because they are not movies or their own separate thing. They are of like a Family Guy season, I think. Like
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
they like end or like they're at the end or beginning or close to the end of certain seasons. So these are considered
I could.
episodes of television.
It's like the season 6 opening is Blue Harvest, and then it's the finale for 8 and 9.
Okay, yeah, good. I'm
Yeah.
glad you know.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah, and I was actually had the commentary on with before this, and like the basically the origin story of these is that they were doing so many Family Guy bids. I mean Star Wars bids on Family Guy that like the lawyers were basically saying, you're gonna get like sued eventually by Lucasfilms. So they ended up going to Lucasfilms, and they ended up meeting with them, and the people there ended up being really cool, and they ended up being cool with them just doing a whole episode on it, pretty much.
Oh wow.
Wow. I mean, clearly they're very into Star Wars. Like they're big Star Wars fans to make
Right.
basically a joke about every single beat in the Star
Yeah.
Wars movies. Yeah.
I would say
And not
I've seen
only,
these. Oh, go.
do you want me to go or do you?
I would say I've seen these more than I've actually seen the original Star Wars. I would. I would
Probably.
honestly-
Well, they're like quicker. They're quicker to watch. You know, they go by so quickly that they're like easier to digest, I think.
Oh, they are for sure. Yeah.
But like, I don't know what I was gonna say is that like the amount of bids is impressive, but also I think the attention to detail of getting Star Wars beat for beat, along with even things like music cues, is like really impressive to show how obsessively they like redrew like the Millennium Falcon going through the Death Star for the first time. How much that looks like the original shot is like pretty astounding. It almost feels like they, I don't know, took the original footage and drew over it, but that's just like how much like their animation budget, I guess you could say, like at work.
I just I remember when it came out, and like it was like I was in 6th grade, and I remember like the next day at school, like all the guys were talking about it, which just like we're like, did you see it last night? And this was like during the phase like where like I got my camera not too long ago before that, so like I wasn't creating like original content, you know, in 6th grade. So like any idea I saw that I liked, I was like, I want to do
Copying
that.
Yeah.
And so my friends and I were like, dude, the Family Guy Star Wars is so good. We should make our own Star Wars. And of course it fizzled out, but there was like a couple times we would just like write in class like our own Star Wars bits. Just because I was obsessed with it. Like I was like,
Yeah. That's a little ambitious, but I believe that if you had the capabilities to recreate all the sets for you right there, you would have gone for it in terms of like bids and like, you know, the recording of it, you know, and everything.
All I did was put it into like I just did the opening scroll in Movie Magic, and I was like, that was it. I did it. And then
Right, like you wrote your own opening and crawl to it.
Which are always like the interesting bits. Like that's like one of the biggest like bits of the thing.
Right.
Like and like just kind of I guess moving into that. Like, how do you guys feel about like? I know we have like our best bits we're gonna rank, but how do you guys feel about them all as a collective, like versus individual ones? Like the first one's like really, I think it's like a really good parody, super funny, and then like there's good bits in the second and third one, but.
Yeah, well, I remember we watched the second one, and you were like, I don't think it's not as good. I know it's not gonna be as good as the first one, and I actually thought the second one was pretty good. But I watched the something Dark Side last night, and I would say like Return of the Jedi, it's a trap.
Yeah, something.
Okay, so the second one's some Dark Side. Next one's it's a trap. Okay. Yeah, it's a trap, I think, is the worst one. kind of like
Oh no.
how Jedi. Do you think it's the best one or something?
No, I think Blue Harvest is the best one, clearly. But
So
this,
you like it more than something Dark Side?
I do
yeah,
too.
I would
Yeah.
say like it
Okay.
goes Blue Harvest, It's a Trap, then something Dark Side for
Okay,
me.
I like something
That's
Dark
also
Side
my
more than
order.
It's a
Yeah.
Trap.
Yeah, dude, John gets it. Hell
Because
yeah.
I watched them all back to
Interesting.
back, and I was just like writing down, different bits that I liked, and that was the one where I wrote the least amount
dude,
down.
there's some pretty good bits in the second
Okay.
one, but like I always found it to be pretty soft, and that one's really
Yeah.
kind of following the story so much that like they don't even have room to be funny in
Okay,
it
I
sometimes.
do agree that I did write the least amount of bids down for something Dark Side. Maybe I'm just going off that maybe I was just in a good place when I was watching it.
Just
So-
feeling good.
You
Yeah.
were with a good friend.
yeah, and smoking a big ass joint. It probably had a lot to do with it. But
I
I
just watched
definitely
the
I have
third
like
one.
bid written down from something Dark Side. And it's the bag of ice.
Dude, yeah, I wrote that one down. You guys need a bag of ice.
Actually, and I have one on my list.
There was I'm not sure. Like I wrote a couple down. Because I just thought like, how am I gonna think of the best bits? So I just thought of the episodes, and then I thought of the bits that I remembered the most. And there's some bits I remember like that are really memorable. And this is like with a lot of Family Guy things. Like a lot of the bits I find memorable or like that are classic, I now find annoying. Like, which I think is like
Yeah.
the best way to describe Family Guy in general is like what fifth grade me really liked about is now become like, oh, this sucks. Like,
Yeah.
or just like the overquoted, like,
yeah.
I don't want to hear Cool Whip. I don't want to hear.
Right.
Yeah,
that's kind of what I expected when I started rewatching these. I thought like I was gonna think I am above these now, and like gonna feel good about how far I've come or something like that. But then I put them on and I'm like, oh, I totally see why I liked these. These are really funny and they're very quick on their feet. And I think like when I'm picking my top 5 bids, like I'm kind of going off a mix of like what I liked in high school when I was watching these too much, and then what like makes me laugh still now.
Yeah, I think that's because like I'm thinking about the couch bit, which is like kind of falls into the branch of like that kind of like that slippery slope of Family Guy. Like this is like a bit, this is like one of the bits, but I still think that bit holds up.
No, that's that may or may not be on my list. I mean, is there anything else to say about like the big scope of these?
No, I really just kind of like, I don't even care we talk about top 5. I just kind of want to talk about the bits, really. Like, I mean, that's what I like to talk about.
Yeah, the top 5 is the bids. I mean, like I have
there's so many
mentions
bits I have that I don't even think are in
that
my
aren't
top
on the top 5. Yeah,
that's why I want to get through the top
about
5
now?
and then I can just be like,
you want to get through the top 5 and then talk about all the other bids, or you want to talk about the other bids now and then do the top 5?
Well, I guess
because like, we're starting to mention bids that are probably on the top 5.
Yeah, so I think it'd just be good to clear the air, get rid of the top 5.
All right. Yeah,
I want to hear
clear
what you
the
guys
air.
Let's do it. Yeah, let's do that.
There's all this tension in the air because of the top 5 and the pedestal we have it on. All right, Ian, you're the guest. You should start it.
Me first. Okay, well, we each do 5 in a round, so that way, in case we repeat, we can be like, oh, that's this one, or I don't know.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know. I just kind of wrote down which ones I like. Let me see. There was one I saw recently. I mean, most of them for Blue Harvest, so like my list is kind of like trying to come across the ones that I find really funny that aren't mentioned as much. So like one of them I'll put as number 5
The
is
Underdogs.
And this is like where they do like the true Star Wars like fandom stuff. I feel is like they'll do a recreation of a shot and then they'll put in like a little bit. So it's
right,
in
I know what you mean. Yeah,
it's like It's a Trap, and it's right where they go in before they like come in to the door. They're following these 2 guys. It's right before like the meeting with the other woman and the only other woman in the galaxy.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
And it's the 2 guys walking, and the one goes, haha, me first.
Yeah. It's like the tracking shot, and What's funny about like Family Guy Star Wars is like certain bids stick in your head so much that if I go back and I watch the original trilogy, I will like think about that bid so much and I'll be like surprised that that doesn't happen. Like when you watch the tracking shot in Jedi of those two guys walking in, I'm just like, come on, guy on the right, just like sprint past it real quick, you know, like
I know,
that's
right?
what's meant to be in that scene to me now.
Okay. Yeah. I just like that. I like there's other ones like where oh yeah, I just got I can't say it because that's my number one bit. I just remembered. So
See, it's clear. So yeah, let's clear the air. Here, um, let's like stick with 5, and we'll go around the room. Okay, my number 5 is from Blue Harvest, and it was almost not on my list. But then like because during my eating my Mediterranean salad, I decided to watch Blue Harvest again. So it's when they're like they fire the Death Star, they destroy Alderaan, and you see the two workers who kind of stand next to the blast,
You're kidding
and
me.
they're like, "How come there is no rail here?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "I talked to them about it." He's like, "We could like, you know, like this could be really bad, blah blah blah." And then it ends with them saying, "None of this will matter when we're famous singers." And that's something I've always found funny, like since I was in
Luke,
high school.
I have to. Not only is that the one that I said like it's my top bit, but it's that exact one. That's like
It's
my
the top
favorite.
bid.
That's my favorite bit in the whole freaking. I quoted that one all the time. Where the guy's like, "I just want a railing, just a railing." Get
Right.
this. He said we'd be leaning all day.
I feel like I've heard you like you've said that to me before. Yeah. And I
Well,
was like, I know what you're talking about, you know? And you're like, finally someone gets the joke.
dude, Luke, I just remember that's how like one of the things like how we were like one of our first like bonding moments on like when we were on a film set together was I kept making a
Like jokes
Family
that
Guy
I
reference.
understood.
No,
Yeah.
I learned like it was like I think it was like Jake, your producer on this show, was like his like short like Grace and Griffin, and I was
Yeah.
like assistant directing, and every time there was we said Griffin, I kept using a Family Guy reference for the name, and you were the only one that understood what I was talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, or other people just had more work to do than me, and so they weren't just there listening to your bids. They were like worried about the lighting or something like that.
Griffin, John, what's your
Yeah,
number 5?
Griffon.
All right, my number 5. I don't really have these. I didn't really create an order for these. I just picked 5. But I'll start with Blue Harvest. And it's when this was one I didn't remember from the last time I saw it, but when they're all lining up outside of the cantina in Mos Eisley,
Yeah.
and Obi-Wan goes up, and they're like not letting him in, and he goes,
Yeah.
"I'm a friend of Dave Navarro's." He's like,
You're
"You
a
saw
friend
me
of
here
Dave
last
Navarro's."
week and seemed like a pretty cool guy. He's like, "You're a friend of Dave Navarro's, yeah. I saw you last week. You seemed like a pretty cool guy." Yeah, that's my number 5. I thought that was a good bit.
Yeah, just the delivery of that is like well done. Yeah, I can see that.
I want to continue with that for my number 4, and it's another cantina joke, and it's where Luke's at the bar because it's an iconic scene where the guy's like, he doesn't like you, I
Right.
don't like you either, and then like Chris just goes like, you don't even know me. And he's like, I'm right,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, this is Phil. But my favorite bit is when the guy goes like, they should call it cold.
Yeah.
He goes
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'm on after the band.
Right. Yeah. They're insinuating he's a bad comedian. Yeah. The guy who in the actual movie gets his like arm cut off by Obi-Wan, but like instead in Family Guy we get that nice random interaction. Yeah. I love how everyone they make everyone in the Star Wars universe a like an aspiring failed like show business person.
Yeah,
like,
really.
because like yeah, I like that a lot. Oh fuck, dude, I'm like remembering bids that I want like on my list that I want to add for honorable mentions. I'll try to remember, but okay. My number 4 is the one bid from something something Dark Side that I picked. It's just simply um when Han does an impression of Leia, like a very mean one. When she says, "You're gonna attack them," and he says, "This is how you sound. You're gonna attack them." Imagine listening to that all day. Like I just.
That's how you sound.
Right, and it's another one, a bid from that where when I watch Empire now, I like want it to be that, I want them to be like him to be like, "You're gonna attack them."
You're gonna attack them. That is a good one. I forgot about that one.
So my number 4. So I think John, yeah, you're number 4 now.
All right, my number 4. All right, I'm gonna go with. So I noticed. I think there are a lot more like the adult situational humor that caught on to me this time around, as opposed to when I watched in high school, like the
Right.
adult situations. And so I wrote down, and I didn't remember this one at all, but when they're going to meet Lando, and
oh my god,
I think they're about to have dinner or whatever, where they see Vader, and
Yeah.
Leia's like, "I'm not even hungry" or whatever, and then Peter's like, "Come on, you got to go. I don't know what to talk to Lando about." Like,
Yeah, he
just
says,
that like subtle.
He
I
says,
forget what he
"Please,
says.
I have nothing to say to
Yeah.
Lando."
I have nothing to say to Lando.
Yeah.
Right. That's just like a funny thing, like as like a little Curb Your Enthusiasm thing they threw
Yeah.
into like Empire, that like something like an Empire that you would never think of,
There's some
Yeah.
pretty good at the Cloud City, like the Dagobah where is it again? I'm not a good Star Wars person. What's the Lando at? Is it the Dagobah
It's like
system?
Cloud City.
Yeah, it's
Cloud
Cloud
Lando
City,
is?
like
Yeah.
What's the
like the
official name?
Bespin mining facility or whatever.
Yeah. That whole part, like where like Han forgets like C-3PO's name's also kind of funny.
Right. He's like, "You never bothered to learn it." Yeah.
And then there's like the one right before where Stewie's playing Vader's like, "Okay, and when he comes in, like I'll turn around and say gotcha." He's like, go. He's
Yeah. And he's like not ready for it at all.
I have nothing to talk about.
Yeah, that's just a very relatable adult situation there. Yeah, that's my number 4.
Number 3, I wrote down so many more. I want to change my first 2 now. I'll just do this one because I like it so much. We'll just do the couch bit because that's a really good one for my number 3.
All right, that's my number 2, so that'll be my number. This will be my number 2.
Yeah, it's also on my list, so I'll make it my number 3, whatever too. Yeah, collective number 3.
So I just say that one's a wash, and I'm gonna give a different one for number 3, which is like the Glendale like when he's
Okay,
like.
so that's the one I couldn't remember, and I wrote it down in between the break just so I had that written down.
Just when he goes, "There's nothing to do downtown," when he's like choking him. I found
it's like a very like, if you live in like LA, like it's a really funny bit, and I like bids like that now because they're like, I wouldn't have gotten that bid if I didn't like live in LA. Yeah, he's like, "Your experience in the LA real estate market, Vader, didn't let you to close that house in Glendale." And then he's like, "That property is 20 minutes from the beach, 20 minutes from downtown," and he's like choking him, and he's like, "There's nothing to do downtown."
That's like what became funny to me. There's nothing to do downtown. Like I always found the bit kind of funny, like, oh, it's just like about real estate. But then
Yeah, right.
It's such an LA thing now that I'm like, ugh, I hate that I love it. I hate that I love it.
Yeah, that I know the city so well. Yeah. It's like when TV writers or just do that in general, like they just slide little bids in there that are for like mainly for people who know areas of LA. I don't know if I've ever talked to either of you about the Californians SNL sketch.
Oh yeah. Now it's super relatable. It's
like it's like the funniest bit in the world to me because of all the street names, and that's all it takes. That's all it takes is to know the street names.
Yeah, gonna take the 405 down to Santa
Right.
Monica.
Yeah, and then I slid right down to the 10 and got off on Ventura, and it's great.
Yeah, nice. That's a good one.
All right, so wait, so that was all of us. What was that? Did we all just do the couch?
I just
Let's
said
talk
like
about the couch for a second here.
Yeah, here, Luke, talk
Um,
about the couch. Yeah.
Yeah, so the couch I always liked. I not only like it for the ridiculousness of them, like just the whole idea of the fact that they find a couch in that like garbage that's usually robot supplies, and that while they're escaping, they also are taking this couch. But what I love the most about it is the dialogue when they're trying to fit it through doors, because everyone has experienced this when moving, and like just that like they nail that, just showing the frustration of trying to fit your couch when you're trying to move into your apartment or whatever, like
Yeah.
that. Just like you twist it like this. You see how I'm twisting it?
No. Wait.
Yeah.
It's
Dude.
easier than we're making it. Yeah.
Right.
It's always,
We
yeah,
had
it's
to-
always
it
one of
always
those,
ends up
too.
Yeah.
And it always ends up being that you do have to like take like the feet off or whatever, and it's like it's easier than we're making.
Yeah.
We just gotta take the cushions off, take the feet off, and we should be good.
Right.
The best is when he's like, "Just go!" When they like put it on the ship in the second
Yeah.
phase of
he's
it.
like,
Like,
hang on
just
to
go,
it,
just
yeah.
go, just go.
Yeah, it becomes a
And then
major part of their like escape is getting the couch out too.
Yeah, easy. And then it ends up being like General Tarkin's couch that they stole. It's like, I think I saw they took your old couch, and he's like, rebel scum.
Dude, I like what at the end when they shoot Vader. Then it's like, look at all this space we have now. It's like when he's on the couch after like,
Right.
Oh yeah.
He's like, look at this, look how comfortable we are now.
All right. There we are. We did the couch.
We did
All
it.
right, so,
It was gonna come up. It's probably one of the most famous Family Guy bits, I would say.
Probably. So that was like, what are we saying that was then for like? Is that all our number 3 now?
Sure.
That's just maybe a collective
A collective appreciation, and then I
Yeah.
said like my.
So what do we do next?
I just said my number 3 then was like the Glendale Sunset one. So now do a 3 that's not the couch. I feel like
Yeah.
if it's like
All right,
new
I'll just do another one. Okay. My actual 3 that's not the couch is the John Williams and Danny Elfman bids, where it's the classic Luke's looking at the two suns, and the most iconic probably Star Wars score ever pops in, and they turn to John Williams and his whole orchestra's there, and then he says, "Now do the theme from the People's Core." And it's like da 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 da, and you see a guy like who's like he's like on the hi-hat, and he's like. And then they bring this bid back later, when his aunt and uncle are murdered, and he's like, they also killed John Williams. And then he says, great, now we got to do this with Danny Elfman. And that's just something like that has stuck with me since I saw these. Like, now if I ever think of Danny Elfman, I always think of that bit.
Yeah, that's a great one too. That was also on my list. So I'll do a different one for my number 3 too. But yeah, that's great. I especially love the People's Court when they now do the People's Court theme. Yeah. All right. My number 3, I'm gonna go with when they at the beginning of It's a Trap, and Vader's ship comes in. They're like, prepare for Lord Vader, whatever, and then all these tourists start walking off the
right. He's
the
like
ship.
he's on a commercial flight.
Yeah. And then Stewie's like, oh man, we're in a galaxy far, far away, but we still have to stop in Atlanta. Like, it's that's a great.
Dude,
Right.
another one that's like funny that it's not on my list, but I find really funny is when General Palpatine gets off a ship and it's a trap, and they meet like the kid like in the wheelchair, and he goes like, "This is Johnny." He goes like, "Hey Johnny, how you
How do you like
the
the Death Star so far?
You have
He
to
goes
come
like-
back when it's finished. Yeah.
He's like, "Okay, walking away, walking away."
Right, right. And then they like say something like, your room's not ready yet, but like it's all right, you could use the pool or like whatever, you can use the pool and everything. And then they show him this is really dark. Like then he's in the pool and he like murders 2 kids who are
Yeah.
playing.
Oh yeah, he shocks him. That's right.
Yeah, that was one where I was like, ooh.
He's like, I need to relax too. So,
Right, I need to relax too.
Dude, the third one I was rewatching it today, and there are some honestly like sleeper funny bits in there. Like there's like a lot of stupid humor. Like one of the ones I like, I'm not like top 5, but it's like when like Chris is like, "Why don't you come over to the lighter side of the force?" And then they do like that comic by Dave Berg. And it's like I'm trying to be a lifesaver, a lightsaver. And then I just find it so funny when Stewie goes like, "Yeah, how about that? That's something." That's something.
Oh yeah.
There's like the one like I'm not sure, this might be a top 5, but where like Carter's going like, "I think you will find it will be quite operational."
Oh, yeah,
once
right.
your friends
That's
come."
something me and my like cousin and my brother used to like quote all the time. It's just like because of our brain numbed asses would just like we would lean our heads over and do it. And it's another thing that when I watch Jedi, I like want him to say it like more exaggerated like that because it is. I think they are kind of playing on how ridiculous and old he seems when he's actually saying it in Jedi, because he kind of goes like, "Oh," like in the actual movies. So they kind of just go full on with it, and then they like he doesn't bend his neck at all in the Jedi. So they literally like come up with that he just like gradually turns his entire head upside down as he says that line, and it just
Quite
works with the delivery from
operational.
when your friends arrive. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a personal favorite for sure too. Okay, so are we back around the bend again with your
Yeah.
second favorite, Ian?
Oh, it's got to be well, it's such a close tie between the first and the second, but I'll just pick my second one because it's kind of a loose second that I could even just get rid of the whole thing, but it was so funny to me as a kid and still really funny to me now. It's the Magic Johnson Death Star training video.
That's on my list too.
That's
Yeah.
that's my number 1. So
See, like,
and also the couch is my number 2, so I don't have any left. So I'll just pull up random ones for the next
yeah,
one.
see, like I feel like if we all put it, it's a wash. But like I just always like unless they sleep with your wife or girlfriend, like
As he's sleeping with your wife or girlfriend, and he goes like, "Nah."
no, but there will be a lot. They will be
There
there to
will
help
be a
you.
big explosion.
um,
Yeah, I love that.
well, if that's not one, then because like I like the one where they go like the boss is busy. Look, the boss is coming.
Right,
Look
it's like
busy.
Empire stuff.
Oh,
Empire
yeah.
stuff.
Empire stuff. Empire stuff. Empire stuff. Busy Empire stuff.
Right. What about how's the weather, Ollie? Space weather.
There was one in the third one too. I remember that I really liked. It's not like top 5, but it's still worth noting. It's like the one where like he walks in, and then like I forget who throws him. Like Palpatine throws like Stewie like a baseball or something, or Stewie throws Palpatine a baseball. Somebody throws somebody a baseball, and then a guy in a corner goes, "Our first catch of the day."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are
So
we
what's your
going
number
are we still going with our top 5, or are we just going
I
Sorry,
don't know.
Just go
I'm getting
crazy.
antsy.
It
What's
feels
what-
it feels like it's falling apart. I mean, my list is done, so I'm just gonna pull out shit now.
What's your
John,
number
did you
2
have
though?
stuff that? Yeah. Well, no, mine was the couch, and the first one was Magic Johnson. So, John, did you have like one on your ranking that you have that hasn't been brought up?
Yeah, so my
'Cause-
next two were Magic Johnson and the Chevy Chase vacation
All right.
bit where
Okay.
they're
Roll them up.
like, yeah, they're
Yeah, that's on
driving
my
by,
honorable mentions for sure. Yeah.
yeah, they're driving by the Death Star during the battle in Blue Harvest, and Chevy Chase is doing his his Clark Griswold, and then yeah, they go roll them up once it starts getting too crazy. That's definitely one of my favorites. I always think about that one. Even just anytime like in driving in a car and there's any sort of like we have the windows down and all of a sudden it gets too loud, driving too fast on the highway, roll them up. I don't know. It's
Yeah,
just
it's
I
Right.
always
Right.
go
Right.
back to that.
it's funny. It comes from like the original Vacation, but I associate it more
With the
with
Family Guy.
with
Yeah.
the
this.
Family Guy one. They
When I
did that.
when I watch First Vacation, I think of the Family Guy bit instead.
There's so like I'll just go with my final bit. I mean, like I was thinking of the one where they lean on the rail would be number one, but my first one is actually pretty early on in the Blue Harvest episode. And it's when they all line up at the beginning of the door. Like and it's pretty straightforward so far.
Yeah.
And then the rebel trooper goes, what if they come in a different door?
Yeah. And he's
Then we'll
like,
go to the
"Focus-
other door.
Point your gun at that door.
He goes like, Mark, why are you always nice to me when all the other rebels aren't around?
Right. Right.
But I remember in the original broadcast, like they didn't have that's like a DVD additional part that second because on the original one they cut it for time I think and it's just what if we come in a different door, and that's just one I quote all the time. Like if I'm about to do something or like there's heavy preparedness for something, I'll just go, what if they come in a different door? Like I don't
Yeah,
know
I
why
remember
it's-
I would like used to say to my friends, I'm like, "God, hey, why are you always nicer to me when the other guys aren't around or something like that?" You know?
I did always love the bits just between like the workers or like the guys,
Yeah.
all the side characters that you don't even know their names. Like I thought those were funny, and it reminded me of that SNL Adam Driver sketch where it's like undercover boss
Mhm.
and he's Kylo Ren. Have you guys seen
Yeah,
that?
that's hilarious.
I think
Yeah,
that's it always
absolutely
reminded me of
hilarious.
that.
I like
Um,
the lot of the side jokes with the people. Like when I like I think it's the third one. It's like, hey guys, our utility closet. We're missing 3 snow shovels. Have you seen where those went?
yeah, and and then
They're on their head,
playing on
yeah.
that their hats kind of look like snow shovels or
Yeah, of
something
course.
like in the actual movie. So, I like the smoking pot during the garbage crushing scene between C3PO and R2D2. They just start smoking pot, and and he's like, and C3PO's like, I think I'm having a paranoid freak out here. He's like, just tell me I don't have to stay in this room. And then he kind of like accidentally like leans on it and stops the garbage from that. It's just like so random, like that they put that in there. I don't know what like inspiration that comes from, but I guess because they're just sitting there waiting, or something. But I think that's really funny. I also like how in Blue Harvest the Death Star is a mall.
Yeah.
And that I like a lot. He's like, so we parked by the Macy's, so we're not there, blah blah blah. Like we passed the Banana Republic here, and he's like, all right, we gotta get out here. Like smell that Mrs. Fields is killing me. Like, I think that's hilarious.
That one is more one of its time too. Like where like I really related to that because that was still around the time where I went to malls all the time as a kid. Or just like going there. And I just remember having so many experiences like during Christmas and stuff, being with my parents, like, and there's the
Right.
Macy's, like
It's like before you find out malls are like a terrible place. You
Yeah.
still liked going, like it was like a high school scene to be at the mall. It was like exciting to be at the mall.
Yep.
Yeah, I actually went to the mall today, and I was like, I went to the mall alone, and I had like almost a full mall day. I like bought 2 pairs of shoes, and I went and ate in the food court. And I was like, this is like the weirdest shit ever, like.
I just think of Dawn of the Dead at that point.
There were like teens skateboarding in there, and I was like, hey, slow down.
Who's your guys' favorite like Okay, let's just do like a Blue Harvest. Who's your guys' favorite like character adaptation? Like who's your favorite? Like
Um,
to me, it's between
That's
like
tough.
Herbert the Pervert as Obi-Wan or Stewie as Darth Vader. And Stewie might win out just because he looks super funny in his little suit. Like, just. But like,
I
I
don't
would
know.
probably go with Stewie as Darth Vader.
Yeah, I like
I think
Stewie or Han because I just feel like Family Guy writers tend to put a lot of their, I don't know, more out there or like crazier or favorite jokes through Peter Griffin.
mhm.
Um, you know,
mhm.
My
and
brother had
Stewie, I guess.
this is my brother's ship. He died of leukemia. How do you feel now?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
forgot
yeah.
about that one. That
It's a
used to
piece
be
of
one of my
junk. Yeah.
favorites. That's not
Yeah,
even, I didn't write that down at all.
dude, another one of my favorites is where Herbert goes like, "That's no moon. What do we do?" Like it's taking us in a gravitational pull. Like, what do we do? It's like we got to try something else. Like what? He goes, like getting the hell
Yeah,
out
yeah,
of here.
yeah, yeah.
But the funniest part is when he follows up by going like, "I'm just kidding. Can you imagine if I was really like that?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's so funny about Herbert as Obi-Wan is that in a new, in the original Star Wars, Obi-Wan is like, the gateway for the hero, blah blah blah. Like he is like moving the plot forward always, and he's the one who always like knows something everyone doesn't. In Family Guy, like he doesn't. He's just Herbert, the pervert, like pedophile. So he doesn't have like anything. Like even in the final one, like when he comes back as a ghost, and he's like, Luke's asking, he's asking about his sister. All he's doing is like, stick a carrot in your ass like it's coming out or something. Like he's just saying like very perverted things, and Luke's just figuring it out all himself. Like all they do is use him to make like pedophile jokes instead. So
I like.
like it's really just crazy that's how they do Obi-Wan,
Yeah, it is pretty funny that like it's kind of like it's such a secondary like Herbert's like kind of like a griefed up deaf guy to me or like a Consuela type person of like they're only like one shot bit type character. Like you always kind of know what you're getting for when you see like Herbert on screen. I mean sometimes
Right.
they do
Yeah.
I
but
like the time of your life number a lot.
oh that
It's
was
kind of it's followed like it follows that Blues Brothers like thing, where they're like just act and be real cool, and they all just like walk as a group and slink into the Death Star, and the music from the Blues Brothers plays. Um, yeah, yeah. Herbert's always great. Definitely one of the more ridiculous characters in general in Family Guy. I like it when he says to Luke in the final one where it's like, do you want to go to Yoda's toilet and take a shit in Yoda's toilet? Pretend you're taking a giant poop.
Dude, look, make it look like a tiny. You want to take a big old poop?
Yeah, you want to take a shit in Yoda's tiny toilet? Pretend you're taking a giant poop.
There was I was looking at the one I was oh man, I can't remember it.
Another one in Jedi is the elongated nodding scene
I wrote that
Oh
one
between the
yeah.
down as well. Yeah.
heroes during as all these during like in rhythm with the John Williams thumps.
Hmm.
Like that really in Jedi originally there's like 3 nods between the characters, and Family Guy just goes there's going to be like 20 or 30, and like you see them go like Leia not they keep going back to Leia in the like speeder thing or whatever, and she just keeps turning back to Quagmire C3PO, and they just keep going around, and it's like that's like a type of comedy that I think like Family Guy invented, just the like we're gonna beat this to death, and to the point where you're in this like I don't know, just this ridiculous world like that you just can't believe that they won't stop doing it, Like like we said with the Cool Whip, but like while the Cool Whip is one of the more commercial Family Guy bits, I think I like that's why like we're all sick of it. But I think like this I just really enjoyed, and they do it again too when they're like, but there's the chicken, is Boba Fett behind you? All right, on the signal, we'll get him, and then they just start nodding to each other again, and then when they turn around, they're like, what happened? And there's like a guy with his arm cut off, and he's like, oh, he fell in the hole, he's gone.
He fell? Yeah, he fell. Yeah, and then they just cut away.
Right.
One of the ones I like they do that kind of reminds me of that I think's better is in something Dark Side where they're on the comet and
Yeah.
Peter just keeps shooting the thing. He's like, hold on a second.
Yeah.
Time out.
What's
going
now I
on?
got it. Yeah, now I got it.
One I forgot to mention earlier too, that it's a pretty dumb one, but I remember really liking when I was younger too, is when it's in Blue Harvest when Luke and Han they're in like their little gun like turret stations, and Peter's just going
Yeah, he sings with the score.
Just singing along with the song. Yeah,
I like that a lot too. For sure.
That always got me.
Yeah, Mom, I'm calling just like yes, we won.
We won the battle.
We won the battle. Yeah.
I'm calling just like yes.
And he's like, why do you think they're called TIE fighters? And he's like, we're gonna die. They literally like wrap the TIE flag on him.
Oh my god, there was
a good racist joke.
Yeah, family is never afraid to put that in there either. I like in the it just went away. Damn. There's so many.
I'll save you with I like it when they cut inside, they're on Endor, they cut inside the chicken walker.
That's literally it. Thank you.
Wow, we've been really we've all been very on point with this.
I thought,
and they cut in and it's Del Griffith doing the mess around Ray Charles like thing. And that was one that like really got me when I watched it yesterday because I did not expect it. It hits very close to home, as especially everyone would know who's listened to our Planes, Trains, and Automobiles episode. I just like did not expect that at all, and I think it just fits perfectly. Just like that Del Griffith is in there driving one of the chicken walkers and jamming out to Ray Charles, and I think they have Steve Martin in there. Like asleep next to him before like Brian comes in and kills, it's just great. Yeah, I love that.
There's the second one where he goes like, well, first going with that scene, I love when they go dark. Like I still think the third one's better than the second one, just because like there are some pretty funny bits, and it just kind of shows like the frustration with the third movie itself, like. Where Leia comes out braided with her hair, and it's like they use spears. This braid is like it's not as good as Empire,
right? So they use like spears, but they understand like braiding or something like that.
The modern like nuances of cosmetology.
Right. Yeah, that's exactly the wording. Perfect.
But
I felt one of the reasons I didn't like the third one as much is because I felt towards the end they leaned so hard on like the Seth Green like
I will agree to that. They
like that's almost the entire last act in a way.
But that's how they always ended them. So I agree with you, and I think you're right. But it's also kind of concluding the trilogy's full story in that way.
Right. I get it. In a way, I do like the when he says the Emperor's like. I liked him in Entourage because at least he was playing who he was, an asshole. Because I've watched the stretch of Seth Green on Entourage a lot, so that one hits close to home for me.
I like the part 2 where Peter comes in and he's like, you guys are all gonna go dig your graves out there. He goes, I'm tired of this cutesy like Ewok bullshit. That and going along with like the long one, I think the last long one I'll think where they do long bits is where like he cuts open the tauntaun in the second one.
Breathing on the outside.
It's still pretty. Yeah, they're all still pretty quotable though. They're pretty. Like, yeah, I would still say I could watch Blue Harvest. I've watched it so much though that I know every bit that it's almost kind of like
Yeah.
infused.
Good.
Like, I know the Dijon mustard's gonna happen. I know, like, I know, like everything.
Yeah. I we didn't mention the bag of ice bid yet. That's one of the last ones. Like that one almost made my list. I forgot what it got knocked out by, but I I love the there's a lot of ice here, and then like when they're about to
Yes.
leave, he comes back for one more. Like, wait, you need this, the bag of ice, and then
Get
they're
out of here.
you get out of here.
There's there's one in another throwaway one that I'll make my last one is that one where like I like the ones where they just make a joke based off like the actual script and it's like I forget what the line is in Star Wars like aren't you a little young to be like
A stormtrooper.
Aren't you a little fat to be a
Oh,
stormtrooper?
yeah,
and she
yeah.
goes like well sit here and watch you stuck up bitch like
Yeah, I wrote that one down too. That was an honorable mention.
And then there's an one similar to that in Dark Side where it's in Empire, and this one really works because in Empire, and same because these are both all everything is. I'm about to like single this out as being iconic. This is all iconic. In the Empire, when Leia says "I love you," he says "fuck off," like because he's like about to go into like down into the ice, you know.
no and then comes out farting in the third one sorry
Right. Yeah. Which is funny that like that's how like when he's finally unfrozen, he's like trying to be polite about like his fart immediately.
sorry
All right, here's another I didn't mention. When he's like, I know a few maneuvers, and he's like, you're listing lazily to the left. And he's like, hey, we're not in the same place as we were, and like he's like, I'm sure they can keep up. And then they cut to the ship, the Empire ship. He's like, where'd they go? Oh, they're listening lazily to the left. That guy knows some maneuvers.
Yeah, another I guess another Peter Millennium Falcon bit is when isn't something Dark Side and they're going past the space bums. It's like, oh, I made eye contact with the space
Oh,
bums.
right.
Let's
Oh,
just be thankful for what we have, you know?
yeah, he accidentally hits a space.
Yeah, he
bump.
hits the space.
So
Yeah,
he's
I
yeah.
hit a
That's-
space
And in Empire, they like go off to light speed just organically, but like in in Family Guy, like that's why he speeds off a ways because he hits
Mhm.
space bum. Yeah.
There was a, I would say after talking about this, like Han Solo definitely gets all the best lines. I would say the majority
Yeah,
of like the.
Probably.
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right.
I would
well,
agree.
I've talked my Family Guy ass off. I could talk about.
yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
This is recorded now. This is so we're doing The Godfather next, right? We're doing.
Yeah.
We've already done it. We've already done it.
Naturally,
We
yeah.
can do.
Okay,
we can do
then
part 2.
we'll do RoboCop. We'll do RoboCop. All 3 RoboCops.
I haven't seen the second and third RoboCop. How are they?
I don't know, but it's a trilogy. I can only be on here for trilogies now. Trilogies all in one. That's it. That's
That's kind of. I felt like we have to do the whole trilogy for sure.
And that's why I feel like RoboCop would be one where you're like, yeah, the first one's a classic, and then you get to see the 2 others.
But the second and third, what are our favorite bids?
Yeah, exactly.
I like in the third one where the lady puts a high heel through the guy's eye.
I feel like that's a little more like, I don't know, maybe along the lines of Lethal Weapon, because Lethal Weapon has just endless like banter and one-liners that we could just repeat on over and over again.
I've actually never seen Lethal Weapon.
Oh, it's good. Mel Gibson's a maniac in it, and he's too old for this shit. I think in the Family Guy they reference him when he dies. Someone dies as Danny Glover and says he was 2 days from retirement or something like that.
Oh,
Yeah.
I forget when that happens, but
Yeah, that's that's the opening, Blue Harvest, but when they come into the doors.
right. Yeah, so there's a Lethal Weapon nod right off the bat. Yeah, like Family Guy is really just for like I especially love it now that I've seen more movies. So I understand the bids more. Like Simpsons, there is like that old saying that Simpsons did it and Simpsons done everything. But I think Family Guy, even to another level, um, every single bid is referencing something from pop culture or movies or television or music, and I think it leans on it. It
Yeah.
leans on it heavier than any animated show. So I think especially like I think the nerdier you are with like movies and television and music, the more you will appreciate Family Guy. And so that's why definitely for me Family Guy holds up, because as these open up with a like Aaron Sorkin like joke, or I think that's Dark Side where they do like now it's Aaron Sorkin like Aaron Sorkin's Who got the milk or something like that, you know, and then they're like it's like really fast paced, like all right then we'll go get some milk, you know, like
Get the milk. Get the milk. Oh, I always loved the golf bit at the beginning of Blue Harvest. The two golf
Right.
nerd. I feel like that's an unsung
Oh,
hero.
yeah.
That's a
It's
good
like,
one. That's another one. Like when I was a kid, I was like, I don't get what the hell they're talking about.
You pork her for a week and then be done with her. Yeah, that's my
Right.
thing.
Yeah, but a hell of a week though. A hell of a week, and it's like
Hell of a
Jack
week.
Nicholson's, I think, girlfriend or something like that.
Oh wow.
Like at least it's supposed to be, because it's like celebrity golf.
All right. That's
All right.
fam.
In,
Do
in
we sing the
conclusion-
song?
Yeah.
we all right. If you want, if all right, maybe not now, but like if you want, like you could send you could send a recording, a shitty recording to Jake of you singing the Family Guy song, and he'll put it in the beginning of the edit.
Oh wow! Imagine if I had the soullessness to do that. I feel like that's like next. I feel like that's next level of like.
Like,
I feel like
am I asking too much at this point? Like,
no, I would just know that I had to live with that, and that somebody could track that down and be like, "Hey, here's the Family Guy." I'll do it. Yeah, why not?
yeah, just do it. Like, really.
Just do it. Do it.
All right, cool. Well, we did it. We covered the whole trilogy.
Yeah,
We'll be back next
thanks
week
for
with
being here,
RoboCop.
Ian.
Yeah.
We really appreciate it.
For sure. Oh, dude, like the last thing. Lucky there's a Family Guy, right?
Yeah. It's a perfect way to end it. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Had the time of my life, and I owe it all to you. I've been waiting for so long. Now I've finally found someone to stand by me.